Alice Goffman, On the Run, Fugitive Life in an American City. In On the Run, Fugitive Life in an American City, Alice Goffman invites the reader to dive deep into the world of 6th Street, a poor black neighborhood in Philadelphia. The residents of this area navigate a fugitive culture, stemming from the U.S. justice system, which criminalizes large segments of society, particularly the black population. This comprehensive book summary highlights the impact of a tough on crime and a war on drugs policies on people living in poor neighborhoods like 6th Street, where most individuals are trapped in a cycle of crime. Learn about the extent of living in this fugitive culture, with aspects such as police awareness, lack of trust in family and friends, constant fear of arrest, and the underground economy that thrives in such communities.
The criminalization of black neighborhoods. The U.S. justice system is one major source of the fugitive culture that pervades poor black neighborhoods, statistics show. Since implementing tough-on-crime policies in the 1970s, prison confinement rates have risen sharply. People in poor neighborhoods become criminals as there is little else to do to survive, and black Americans are particularly targeted, composing 37% of the prison population despite representing only 13% of the population. Welfare cuts in the black community drove many into the drug trade, just as the government cracked down. The result is a cycle of criminal activity that is often fueled by minor events and that drags many individuals in black communities into its pull, as illustrated by the example of the 6th Street Boys in Philadelphia. Surviving 6th Street. In areas like 6th Street, the police are always a threat, regardless of whether or not you've broken the law. For the boys growing up in this environment, the only option is to become highly aware of police presence, learning not only how to identify officers but also how to run and hide when necessary. This constant fear of being caught creates a culture of fugitives where even innocent individuals can become targets. To survive, one must always be alert and maintain a healthy distance from police authority. 6th Street Boys reality. In a fugitive culture, 6th Street Boys cannot trust anyone, not even their closest family and friends who might turn them in to the police using information coerced through various tactics. Mothers and partners may give in to questioning if the police threaten to alert Child Protective Services or take away their social housing benefits. To avoid arrest, 6th Street Boys flee to unknown places, not even trusting their best friends. The paradoxical life of 6th Street dwellers. 6th Street is a place where residents don't have a regular routine as police are always on the lookout for arrests. Any predictable behavior would lead to immediate surveillance and tracking of the person. Living a fugitive life on 6th Street means missing out on basic societal institutions like justice and healthcare systems. This summary portrays the difficult life of 6th Street Boys through real-life stories, highlighting the harsh realities of living a life characterized by fear and isolation. Surviving in a fugitive culture. Residents of 6th Street have learned to survive in a dangerous neighborhood where traditional conflicts often result in violence. Instead of risking their lives, many choose to turn themselves in to the police on outstanding warrants just to be safe in prison. They also use the bail office as a form of banking, keeping their money safe from theft or abuse by family members. Despite the 20% charges, they consider it better than losing everything. In some cases, bail is even used as a form of collateral to borrow money from local dealers when traditional banks reject them due to their criminal record. This shows how people can adapt and make the best of their tough circumstances. Fugitive culture and relationships. The influence of a fugitive culture on personal relationships is significant, as demonstrated by the story of Lisa and Reggie. On 6th Street, women often threaten their partners with calling the cops to control them. In some cases, false allegations are made to pressure men to leave new partners or stop hanging out with friends. Relationships in a fugitive culture are defined by mutual risk-taking, and hiding a fugitive friend demonstrates affection. Conversely, denying shelter to someone is a sign of dislike. The impact of fugitive culture on personal relationships highlights the importance of understanding the social and cultural context in which individuals live. Fugitive Culture, A Different Route to Adulthood. In Fugitive Culture, the author illustrates how the criminal justice system replaces traditional rites of passage for 6th Street boys to adulthood. Unlike other parts of town, the 6th Street community celebrates their significant firsts with drug jobs, juvenile cases, and bruises. With parents constantly urging judges and driving to prisons to pick up their children, the boys' identity stems from being cool in the eyes of violence and outsmarting the law. Despite their perceived level-headedness, every aspect of the penal system comes with a demeaning and humiliating experience. Such dismal encounters can have adverse psychological effects on the youth. Nevertheless, living in a fugitive culture does not inheritably mean social disorder and a lack of structure, but rather unconventional life-changing moments. Thriving in the fugitive economy. Inhabitants of 6th Street, cut off from the normal economy, resort to creative ways to earn money as the underground or fugitive economy. Due to limited job opportunities, social security benefits, and high fines, many individuals get involved in illegal activities, like drug smuggling or stretching the law without committing a crime. Examples of such activities include a woman named Shonda smuggling marijuana into a correctional facility and a man called Rakim running a urine business selling drug-free urine. Others like Jevon, who imitates voices, make money through creative ways like house-sitting. These individuals are just examples of how people in the fugitive economy make ends meet. The divide of 6th Street. 6th Street is divided between clean and dirty people, with residents doing all they can to stay away from the criminal fugitive culture. Clean people physically distance themselves from dirty people by leaving 6th Street for work and spending free time indoors to avoid getting dragged into the criminal life. Josh, a 6th Street boy who got a $60,000 per year job at a pharmaceutical company, failed to break off ties with his dirty friends and lost his job after coworkers overheard telephone conversations about flying bullets and found out he had a record for cocaine possession. On top of the clean/dirty divide, there is also a large male/female divide, where women mostly assist and support their partners in getting through the justice system and bear most of the work at home, raising children alone and often are better educated due to spending less time in jail. The criminal fugitive culture not only criminalizes large parts of society but drives a wedge between families, partners, and old friends in 6th Street. Wrong tools. In response to the wave of crack-related crime in the 1980s, politicians applied a tough-on-crime policy to address the complex social problems. However, the police and penal system became the only public institutions dealing with neighborhoods like 6th Street. The tough-on-crime approach has led to institutionalized racism and increased social tensions. The drug and petty crime laws have had a similar effect as the Jim Crow laws. Blacks cannot move freely, vote, run for office, or get normal jobs because of their penal record. The government's response to drug crime has caused more harm than good.
Alice Goffman's On the Run, Fugitive Life in an American City, presents a vivid portrait of life in a poor black neighborhood in America. As we explore the fugitive culture within 6th Street, we come to understand an environment where individuals are trapped in a relentless cycle of crime and survival. This heart-wrenching book demonstrates how a deeply flawed justice system has further alienated communities like these, provoking a new form of institutionalized racism and ultimately exacerbating existing problems. By enlightening us on the experiences of people like the 6th Street Boys, Goffman's work raises essential questions on the effectiveness of a tough-on-crime and a war on drugs policies, urging us to recognize and address the multifaceted complexities of such daunting societal issues.